Hi, I'm Chris McBrien.
And I'm Derek Myers.
Here at Pop Goes Your World, we've received a lot of great feedback on how much people enjoy the trivia segments that we do at the end of every episode.
So we've decided to go back and put together compilations of the Fun with Yancy and Fun with Caveman segments we've done over the years as a set of bonus episodes.
We hope you enjoy the fun. Episode 72, The Best Guitar Solos.
Fun with Yancy.
Okay, Yancy, since you like music so much and, you love guitar solos and all that kind of thing, I thought I would throw some guitar solo trivia at you. So are you ready, my friend?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay, we'll go to 2015. I'm going to keep it right in your wheelhouse, okay? And so in 2015, Rolling Stone magazine comprised their list of the most influential guitar players of all time. Yancy, who's the guitarist that topped their list?
I believe it was Prince.
It was not. It was Jimi Hendrix, believe it or not. Jimi Hendrix. Oh. Okay. 1982. Fair. Going back in time. 1982. Michael Jackson released obviously one of the most iconic albums of all time with Thriller, right? And one of the many songs on there was Beat It. Yancy, can you name the guitar player that provided the solo for Michael Jackson's Beat It?
Was it Tommy?
Who the hell's Tommy?
Don't worry about it.
It was Eddie Van Halen.
Was it really Van Halen?
Eddie Van Halen, yes.
I really should know that, huh?
Speaking of Eddie Van Halen, Yancy, he wasn't always a guitar player. You might not know. When he was a boy, he actually played a different instrument altogether and was going to start a band. Yancy, what instrument did Eddie Van Halen originally start out playing?
Was it... I mean, I basically have two choices, right?
It wasn't the wooden xylophone. That was your instrument.
I'm gonna say, well, it's bass guitar, it's drums. I'll say drums.
Yes, you are correct. It was drums. And the thing was, he found out that his brother was better at him than playing the drums, so he switched over to guitar. It worked out good for both of them, right? So there you go.
Yeah, I think that worked out in the long run.
All right, here's one for you. It's a Gen X thing, but you totally know this one. I know that you know. In the movie Back to the Future, Yancy,
which I have not seen.
Are you f***ing kidding me?
Oh, really? Oh, God. I'm going through the microphone again. That lasted about 2 minutes, and I'm ready to go through the microphone again. Oh, that's definitely going to be on the list for you to watch. Back to the Future, Michael J. Fox's character in it, Marty McFly, he gives an unforgettable performance on the guitar to this bewildered audience from 1955, right? He gets in front of the stage and starts playing this guitar solo. Yancy, I was going to ask if you could name the iconic song that Marty McFly played the memorable guitar solo in, but obviously you don't know because you've never seen it, right?
Correct. I have not seen the movie.
It's Johnny Be Good. He gets on stage and they're playing Johnny Be Good because it's a popular song at the time, and he just starts shredding this guitar solo and people are just freaking out because they never heard anything like it before. Okay, I'm going to go with, this is one of my favorite iconic punk rock band. Oh, man. So this punk rock band, kind of punk / rock band, they became very famous in the 70s, and they were known for their incredibly short songs. Their songs averaged about 2 minutes in length because they never played guitar solos in their songs. Yancy, can you name the band whose guitar solo-less songs included Somebody Put Something in My Drink, I Want to Be Your Boyfriend, and Rock and Roll Radio? Name the band.
Man, I don't know. I should know, but I don't.
Sheena Is a Punk Rocker, Rockaway Beach, Rock and Roll High School, I Want to Be Sedated. No.
Oh, God, this is going to kill me.
It's the Ramones. Jeez, I'm coming through this microphone, I tell you. Okay, Yancy, the Beatles. You mentioned this before, right?
God, that was bad. That one hurts.
Oh, it should. It hurts me.
I'm going to get it for that.
I'm bruising on the inside over here. Okay, so Yancy, the Beatles. We mentioned them, right? Greatest band ever. Greatest band ever graced the earth, right? They were all tremendous, tremendous musicians. So on their song, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, which you've already mentioned on the show, George Harrison, believe it or not, did not play lead guitar for the solo. Can you name who did?
If it's Ringo, I'm gonna be really upset.
It's not Ringo. No, it was Eric Clapton. Eric Clapton.
Was it really?
Yes, Eric Clapton playing. Funny you mentioned Ringo, because I remember there's a story once when somebody asked John Lennon, they said, John, is Ringo the best drummer in rock and roll? And John Lennon's answer was, he's not the best drummer in the Beatles. Which I thought was always really, really funny. So, Episode 73, Wall-E Movie Review.
Fun with Yancy.
Okay, Yancy, so you like this movie a lot, obviously. You know, it's a special movie for you. So I'm going to give you some trivia. Okay? And we're going to see how well you know this movie. You mentioned some of the homages in it, some of the pop culture references in it. When Eve is shut down, Wall-E plays a very classic video game that he's collected over the years. What classic video game does Wall-E play on the Atari 2600?
I believe it's Pong.
It is.
He's beating her like 8,000 to 1 or 8,000 to 0, which I think is really funny. But yeah, it's Pong.
It was Pong. So you're obviously aware of Pong and its kind of place in the lexicon of pop culture. It's like the first video game of all time.
Correct. Every time I even talk about a video game in front of my mom or dad, they always reference playing Pong, or just like how every old person always says that every video game ever created is you're playing Nintendo, just because it's so like iconic with that. But yes, my mom used to play Pong. My dad played it. But yes,
I never had I never had an Atari 2600 when I was a kid, but I remember like friends of mine did, and I'd go over and play it. It was really crappy. Like, even at the time, I was like,
you're like, this sucks.
Man, is this crappy? Like, the graphics are terrible. It's just so dumb. It's like it's so bad. But the thing that got me about, so we were talking about Pong. I remember this one buddy of mine was like, hey, man, I got a hockey game. I'm Canadian, so hockey's big for us, right? So he's like, I got a hockey game on my Atari. I was like, so excited. Oh, man, we're going to play hockey. This is going to be great. I ran over to his house. I was so excited. We got downstairs. We turned on the TV. We turned on the Atari 2600. And you know what it was? It was Pong with like 2 paddles. So you know how there's like those two like, I don't know what you call them, those like lines where the ball bounces between? Well, I had 2 on mine and he had 2 on his. That was hockey. It was supposed to be like a goalie and then like a forward, I guess. It was the Atari 2600 was crap. Okay, anyway, the robots that are in the movie, right? They mostly just make mechanical sounds, right? They don't talk a whole lot, but all of them were voiced by one actor, Ben Burt, who's actually a sound designer of all things. So Yancy, can you name the sci-fi film that Ben Burt is best known for creating the sound effects for?
I don't know, so I'm just going to guess Star Wars.
Oh, good guess. Yeah.
Is it really?
It is, yes. Very well done.
I was just trying to be a little piece of shit just because we always talk about Star Wars, but okay, good for me.
No, it was. Okay, yeah, he did like the voice of R2-D2 and like the lightsaber hum, the blaster guns, like that, the heavy breathing of Darth Vader. He came up, he put a little microphone down inside a scuba regulator and breathed. And so he was just super inventive. Okay. Here's a millennial question for you. The character Eve, we've mentioned her quite a bit here on the show. Do you know that the design for Eve was actually inspired by which ubiquitous millennial item? Which millennial
Give
item?
me a hint.
Which millennial item that fits in your hand?
Oh, an iPod or an iPhone?
It is an iPod, yes. So there you go. It's the iPod inspired her design, apparently. So, okay, Wall-E. It's an acronym, Yancy. What does Wall-E stand for?
I know it's waste allocation something. It has something to do with waste, but I'm not sure what the whole acronym is.
Yeah, it's Waste Allocation Load Lifter Earth Class. Okay? So we mentioned Eve. What does Eve stand for?
That I don't know.
It's Extraterrestrial Vegetation Evaluator. Yeah, kind of a tough one. So we mentioned awards on this show a lot. So Wall-E was actually nominated for 5 Academy Awards, Yancy, but it only came home with 1 statue. Can you name the Oscar that Wall-E won?
Wow. I mean, it's not going to win like Best Picture or something, so it has to be the animated feature one, right?
Yes, it is. Very good.
Best animated feature?
It won Best Animated Feature Film. It was also up for Best Original Music Score, Best Original Screenplay, Best Sound Editing, and Best Sound Mixing. But it came home with Best Animated Feature Film. Okay, so the director of the movie, Andrew Stanton. We didn't talk about him too much tonight, but he's also known for directing other Pixar classics, including ones we mentioned tonight, like Finding Nemo and Finding Dory. Now, in addition to his animated film work, he's also directed 2 episodes of this Gen X-inspired television series. Can you name it?
I cannot.
It's too bad because you mentioned it earlier in the show, and that's Stranger Things. He directed 2
no way.
episodes of Stranger Things. Yes, he did. Very, very cool. Okay, so you did pretty good. You got a couple of them. You didn't get them all. Some of them were hard. Whatever. It's all good.
Hey, compared to how I normally do, Chris, this was like a grand slam.
It was like an inside the park home run. It was huge.
Yeah. I'm always just looking to not get blanked. That's really, or just say something that's really stupid, embarrassing, and then I'll get tweets about later. Like, how the hell do you not know that?
Maybe we'll play another round of Pokemon or drugs someday, and we'll have some fun with something like that. We'll see how you do. Or I'll bust out the questions about the original Star Wars trilogy like the last time. God, that was funny. Episode 74, Back to the Future movie review.
Fun with Yancy.
Okay, Yancy, so this is my movie. I nominated this for the podcast this week, so it's over to you. You got some trivia for me?
I do have some trivia. As always, I had to take a bunch down just because you know so much about the movies. I've tried to stay away the last couple of trivia segments where I had to quiz you. I've tried to stay away from the IMDb's and some of the more mainstream publications where they would have trivia questions or like little snippets about the movie or the development or production, because to your credit, you know all that stuff. You know what I mean? And you've been researching that stuff and being completely immersed in like the backstory to all these films for as long as they've come out. So it makes it really challenging for me to try to do trivia for you, and I think you've realized this. When I was watching the film a couple days ago, I started taking notes on like little things to see, as opposed to just asking you questions about casting or awards that they won or that type of thing, seeing if you can notice things that were in the movie. You mentioned earlier product placement and talking about how like the Ford Mustang, like Ford really wanted to do product placement with that. There were all kinds of other brands that you saw throughout there, and I don't know if they paid to be there or not, but they were definitely there. So some of the questions I have kind of pertain to that. All right. So one of the weird things, actually, let me see where I want to start this. So at one point, Marty's girlfriend hands him a handwritten number. It was the grandmother's number. And she says, to call me later because I'm going to be at my grandma's house. I know this is a long shot. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping, because they do like a really close pan of it and it's in the center of the screen and it stays there for a couple of seconds. Can you name the number of the grandmother and her number that she hands to Michael J. Fox's Marty McFly character?
Would it be 8675309?
That would be Tommy Two-Tone. That is incorrect. No, it was 555-4283. I know that's a little bit of a stretch, but for some reason I thought you could get it.
No, I was thinking maybe it was an 80s placement thing. That's why I went with it.
I wish that were so. That would actually have been much better, but no. All right, so question for you. What brand of beer does Biff take out of the McFly's fridge when he first comes in? So this is at the beginning of the movie. He just barges in.
Okay, I remember. Is it a Busch?
It's not a Busch. It's actually a Miller Lite. Interestingly enough, I don't think I would have noticed this had I not been looking for intentional trivia questions. Mm-hmm. But so Biff comes out and he takes out a Miller Lite and he drinks it, right? Then later that night, they're shown during dinner, and the dad's drinking a Budweiser, which I don't know about you, but I have never been in a single household in my entire life where the dad or the family or whomever drinks multiple types of like mass-produced beer. It's one or the other. Like we're a Bud family, we're a Busch family, we're a Miller family, whatever. I just thought that was really interesting.
So it's a continuity issue with the filmmakers, I guess.
Correct. I noticed it just by happenstance, just because, like I said, I was looking for it.
Or they wanted to make more money on product placement with different brands.
There you go. Who knows?
Yeah.
All right. So at one point, Chris, so whenever I first call you on Skype, I oftentimes, we mention Three's Company. Yes. I will either hum the Come and Knock on My Door. It's kind of like a, hey, Chris, what's up? It's audio making sure that my stuff works. There's another song that I often use a lot too, and it is Mr. Sandman. Mr. Sandman does make an appearance in this movie. Can you name the original group that performed Mr. Sandman?
Oh, was it the Quartets?
It was the Quartet.
Oh, wow. This is like 50 stuff. And the only reason I know a lot of this 50 stuff, if I could, is my wife's dad, so my father-in-law, every time we go to his house, all he does is play stuff from the 50s over and over and over. So I know a lot of it, because of him. But anyway, that is what.
Did not expect you to get the Quartets, to be honest with you. But it was just funny though, like just seeing that when I was watching the movie for the first time and hearing it, I'm like, that's awesome. Like I literally do that. Maybe every other show, Chris. Just I thought it was really funny just singing it into the mic. But
you do, yeah.
you guys don't always get to see that. Maybe sometimes we'll put in like the pre-recorded stuff that Chris and I talk about before we do trivia or anything. But so the band, you mentioned it earlier, whenever they saw Marty McFly playing the guitar and stuff, and he, because one of the people injured his hand on helping him get out of the trunk, and then they called Chuck Berry, and who knows, maybe he just gave it like a new birth to rock and roll as we know it. Can you name the band that actually performed during
I can not only name the band, they were the Starlighters, weren't they? And it was Marvin Berry, wasn't it?
Correct.
Yes.
Yep, the Starlighters. Very nice.
Because he was like, this is your cousin, Marvin Berry. And that's when you realize, because he's like, hey, Chuck. And then you realize who it was. But
well done. Okay, you're actually doing better on these than I kind of thought you would. So, all right. So
I love this movie a lot. And I've seen this movie a lot of times, too. So
how many times do you think you have seen it, honestly?
Oh, I don't know. Probably 20.
Oh, that's not that much. Yeah. That's not that much. Okay, I've probably seen the
maybe
Matrix
a bit more.
Times.
No, maybe a bit more than 20.
Okay. Next question. What is the name that appears on the building that Marty crashes into upon returning to 1985? So it shows him smashing into the building, and there's a marquee sign up there. It is the name of a church, and there is a person's name on the building. Do you remember who the church is?
I can't remember it. Oh, no, I can't remember it.
Okay, it's Reverend John Crump, which I thought that was the best fake name I've seen in a movie. John Crump. I know that was a little difficult, and then obviously, like, there was the homeless guy. He makes the joke about like junk drivers or something like that. It was kind of weird and clunky, but.
And I also like I also like the scene when he's in the soda shop, and then he makes a comment to the guy that's mopping the floor, and he goes, "You should be mayor one day." He's like, "Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna be mayor." And then, sure enough, he turns out to be the mayor, right?
I know, but so that's another instance of him like changing history. Did he become mayor sooner? Did he? You know what I mean? Like how
it was that inspiration, that made him want to run for mayor one day, right?
But he was already, like, we already saw in the film, we already saw all those billboards of like re-elect the mayor. You know what I mean? And it was the same guy. So like he had already become mayor, and I don't know. Like this is what's the problem with time travel movies is like you don't know, like is the present that we're living in now already taken into account that somebody went back in time and changed it? Exactly. Like we don't know. You know what I mean? It's really really strange. Cool. But I'll give you an easy one.
Sure.
Can you name me? So we know Lorraine's character, Leah Thompson plays her.
Yes.
And of course she has her parents and stuff. Can you name their last name? What is the household's last name?
McFly. It's easy.
No, it's not.
Oh, you mean her maiden name was Baines, wasn't it?
Baines, correct. Right. Lorraine Baines. Let me see if I have any other more. I partly the problem is I always keep these. I always keep my trivia questions separate. I was writing trivia as I was watching the movie and taking notes, so I'm literally having to like comb through pages and pages of notes. I'll give you one more. Can you name me the actor that played Mr. Strickland, the guy who is ironically still bald even back in 1955?
Oh God, he looks like Donald Pleasance, but it's not Donald Pleasance. But I'll say Donald Pleasance, even though I know it's not him.
It's James Tolkien. His name looks super familiar, and I went looking into it, and I don't really recognize anything that he's from, but I have definitely seen him in like a bunch of movies. Like I think he was in Top Gun. He was in like some other smaller films like Heaven's Fall and Seven Times Lucky. But that felt like a character actor that I thought that you'd be all over. But I guess I got you on this one. But
yeah,
still, in all seriousness, Chris, a pretty good performance.
Yeah, no, he was good.
I'm talking about you with trivia.
Oh, thanks. Episode 75, Superhero Movies.
Fun with Yancy.
Okay, Yancy, now we are going to play a game on this show that we have played before. I mentioned Pokemon earlier, and it's not related to our topic tonight, but I would like to play a game, another round with you of...
Pokemon or Drug.
So for those of you unfamiliar, Yancy's laughing because Yancy loves Pokemon. So if you don't know, so we played a game on this show before, and I decided I'd sort of resurrect it again because much like our topic tonight, they just do the same thing over and over again, right? So we're gonna do the same thing. So with this game, if you're not familiar with how Pokemon or Drug works, this is how it works. I'm going to mention a name, and Yancy, you need to tell me if it is a Pokemon or a prescription drug, okay? Because Pokemon have these weird names, and so do prescription drugs. And some of them you just can't tell, right? So you understand how it works? I give a name, you tell me if it's a Pokemon or drug? It's 50-50, Yancy. You should be able to get this one. This is easy. Okay, are you ready to play?
Yep. Just as like a primer really quick for the audience. I grew up with the original Pokemon, okay? Since then, there have been multiple generations of Pokemon introduced that I am completely unaware of. So yes, I do love Pokemon, but that was like 150 Pokemon. Chris is literally pulling up names that were like invented yesterday. So just bear that in mind.
No, not at all. Okay, I'm going to make it real. I'm going to start with an easy one, okay? Azumarill. Is Azumarill a Pokemon or drug?
That's a Pokemon.
It is a second generation Pokemon. Congratulations. See, I went way back for that one to make it easy, okay? Fennekin. Is Fennekin a drug or a Pokemon?
I'm going to say Pokemon again.
Yes, it is a sixth generation fox-like fire Pokemon. Congratulations. Good job. Ooh. Okay, Mesprit. Is Mesprit a drug or a Pokemon?
A drug.
No, it is a fourth generation psychic Pokemon. Sorry, I'm not sure about that one. Okay, Pegasus. Is Pegasus a Pokemon or drug? Pegasus.
Neither?
No, it has to be one or the other.
I'm going to say it's a drug.
It is used to treat chronic hepatitis B and chronic hepatitis C, so you are correct. It is a drug.
There you go.
Okay, let's go with Lurantis. Is Lurantis a drug or a Pokemon?
A drug.
It is a seventh generation grass Pokemon. Okay.
Oh, damn it.
Cafsit. Is Cafsit a Pokemon or a drug?
A Pokemon.
It is a medicine used to treat sleep apnea in infants. I'm sorry, you're incorrect. Dustox. Is Dustox a Pokemon or drug?
That's got to be a Pokemon.
It is. It's a third generation bug poison Pokemon. So there you go. Vibrava. Is Vibrava a drug or Pokemon?
Of all the names you listed so far, this one can really go both ways. I'm going to say a drug.
It is a third generation ground dragon Pokemon. All right, Trevenant. Is Trevenant a drug or a Pokemon?
A drug.
It is a sixth generation ghost grass Pokemon.
Oh, gosh.
How about Gaddix? Is Gaddix a Pokemon or drug?
What is it called? Say it again.
Gaddix.
Gatix? That's got to be a Pokemon.
It is a prescription medication for adults with short bowel syndrome. Okay, what about Ablavar? Ablavar, is that a drug or a Pokemon?
Ablavar. I'm going to say Pokemon.
It is a drug used for vascular imaging. And one final one I'll throw at you. Zovirax. Is Zovirax a Pokemon or drug? Zovirax.
A Pokemon.
It is a drug used to treat genital herpes.
Oh my.
Are you serious?
Yeah, look it up.
It really is wild how these could go both ways.
I know.
It really is crazy.
That's the best part. Oh, man.
The marketers of these drugs, like, you're like, you know what? Let's name it whatever you just said, ox dust, something.
Exactly. That's what makes the game so fun. And even for a Pokemon enthusiast like yourself, it's pretty tough to tell if something is a Pokemon or drug. It's pretty tough. It's pretty tough to find.
Thanks for listening to Pop Goes Your World. You can contact Chris and Derek at popgoesyourworld.com. Please take a minute and review the podcast on iTunes or wherever you download and listen to the show.